Hello, everybody. This is Gigi Berardi, and I'm pleased to be reading from my new book, FoodWISE. And this is the introduction, but I'm going to read a little bit into the fierce food beliefs section. As I put down in writing my thoughts about food, I find that often the clearest way to express them is as general concerns that I think many of us share, combined with my own ideas and ways of dealing with them. So I write about concerns for us, interest we have, and about how I view them, but also about situations that you, the readers, may find yourself or yourselves in and how you might react. Consequently, the writing hops back and forth between first and second person. And that makes sense because we, that is, I and you, are all in this together. One further note, if you want more information, you will find references in the section titled Notes at the back of the book. So I made the decision not to burden the reader with notes, references, citations as he or she would be reading the book, but instead they are hidden references with page numbers and tags in the very back of the book. In FoodWISE, I take a close look at the agricultural web and some of what goes into making informed choices in it. And I want you to come along on the journey. I can tell you what I've found, but my goal is to help you figure out for yourself how to interpret the things you hear about food. Stop, think, then act. That's my mantra. Don't take anything at face value. Take a moment to breathe and think about what you're learning and how it fits into your life and the things you care about, and then act in a way that makes sense and feels wise to you. Fierce food beliefs. I question my food beliefs partly because I know they're fueled by a barrage of messages in media, advertising, grocery displays, and even beautifully scripted menus that all play a huge role in persuading us to buy one food or another in a supermarket or restaurant. Here is some of the conflicting information. Should I avoid fat or double down with butter slathered on my pork chop? But oil is good, right? Especially if it comes from fish. What about vegetarian or vegan diets? Maybe discretionary vegetarianism works best. Do I eat meat when I know the source? But I'm also fine without it. Do I avoid carbohydrates or just the sugary, refined kind? It seems like everyone has questions, but not everyone wants to hear advice that contradicts their beliefs. So now I have a paragraph I wrote on the great food journalist Michael Pollan. Before a public address at my university, food writer Michael Pollan asked a group of my students, why is it that if a cardiologist tells a patient that she's going to need triple bypass surgery, 3 weeks in the ICU, and a lifetime of heart drugs with a possible risk of early cerebral dysfunction, the patient says, no problem, I'm in. But if someone tries to advise that same patient to eat green leafy vegetables or stay away from processed foods with their problematic trans fats, we'll talk about this more in part 2 and more. The response is, get out of my face, mind your own business. Pollan was talking about nutrition advice aversion, especially when that advice comes from the medical profession. So I'm pleased to say Michael Pollan was one of the people who endorsed the book. But the point is here that we've got information overload. And also we've got very complicated food beliefs in terms of their origin. And then we have something called confirmation bias, where we hear what we want to hear. We use the information that we want to use to confirm those beliefs. And we're talking about food here, and I enjoy talking about food, but as I speak, we are dealing with, the world, So we are all in this together, as I said, are dealing with the coronavirus infection and treatment crisis, I should say. So now I put on my EMT hat, or I guess I should have my PPE and my personal protection equipment, masks, gloves, gowns, but those are all in short supply right now. So we have to be judicious and frugal in how we're using them. This is a time when we do have to sift through and sort through advice, it's true. Although we can find something that does ring true and is wise, and it is to self-isolate in our homes at this time.